David, I didn't know that you had your Hobart certificate as well. My first job was as a dishwasher at the Holiday Inn in Seguin, Texas. The hotel was at the juncture of two major highways, so basically it was all truckers. It was just truckers, and my job was a dishwasher and room service. The room service part was, basically it was like bringing disgusting food to the most out of shape, haggard, exhausted, disgusting men you've ever seen in your life. I know truckers are sweet and all that, but these were rough customers. And the thing that was so strange to me is how many of them were just naked. Hey, just naked. And it wasn't queer, like it wasn't like a gay thing, or they were like, they were just like, I'm not in my truck. I don't care if you see my dick, just give me my ham sandwich. That was the attitude I got. There was no come hither, no flirtation, just like, yep, I'm naked. When I wasn't doing room service and I was washing dishes in the Hobart machine, the kitchen boss's name was Dee Dee, and Dee Dee was this very portly black woman who was totally suspicious of me at first. She just did not like me, gave me the evil eye all the time. And she was either in two states, hysterical laughter or maniacal fury, and there was no in between, and sometimes I'd be like that. One thing that she always said to me was, I would be doing something, and she'd say, "Get your NA over here!" My what? Your NA! And I didn't know what it meant, and I was afraid to ask, but for like the first few weeks I worked there, always, "Get your NA to work, get your NA over here, move your NAs in my way." I left it alone. She was also constantly obsessed with my laziness, and if I was just, because the job was actually pretty easy. There was a lot of time when there were no dishes to wash and no room service. I would just be hanging out with the cook, shooting the shit, or, like on the phone with a friend. And she would see me and she would just say, she said the same thing to me every time. She said, "I'm not your mammy." She loved saying that to me. And I was like, I never said you were, Dee Dee. But over time, I sort of, I edged my way in. I tried to warm the cockles of her cold heart. And she eventually, I made her laugh sometimes. But even that was like a blessing and a curse, because laughter always led to some sort of symptomatic pain of a condition she supposedly had. So making her laugh went like this. Oh, my back! Get your NA out of here! And it was like, God, no more knock-knock jokes for you, Dee Dee. So one time I was at work and I don't know what I was doing, probably nothing. And she says, "Hey, you know how to cook?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, "Get your NA over here." So I went around the corner. She was standing on a step stool over like an industrial, I swear to God, it was like a 30-gallon metal pot. And she was on the step stool just to be at the rim, like looking down at me, stirring, sweating. And she said, "Get up here." So she gave me this like cartoon-sized spoon. And I went to the top of the thing, I looked down. It was basically just molten lava hot water with carrots, sliced carrots in it, cooking. So she said, "Stir this till I get back." And I did, and she was gone for 45 minutes. I blacked out, but I stood up. I was like, oh my God. She finally comes back and she's like, "What you doing up there?" And I said, "Well, you said to stir." She said, "I said stir sporadically. You didn't have to be up there the whole time. Get your NA down." She's pissed off with me. And then one day she says to me, she said, "Hey, you know how to sweep?" I was like, "Yeah, duh, I know how to sweep." And she said, "Here." Now, I had to sweep. I should have said no, like it was maybe a physical problem. I swept 10 times a day. That was the thing that happened when she perceived this laziness. If I was like talking to someone, "Oh, get a broom, get your NA over here and sweep." So I was constantly sweeping. So now I'm sweeping, cooking, doing room service, and washing dishes. None of these promotions I'm getting any sort of raise for. At which point I really wanted to be like, who's the mammy now? So one day she's yelling at me, and she's yelling about something. She's talking about my NA, and I was really tired. And I was like, "Dee Dee, stop. I need to understand what my NA is before you say it to me anymore." "What's your NA?" Your NA is your narrow ass. Your narrow white ass. And I always thought it was a shame that she left out the white, because I thought it would have been so awesome to be constantly judged for your whiteness by having someone refer to your NWA. I would have liked that. So I've been working there for months, and one time she comes up to me. She says, "Hey, you know how to clean?" I was like, "Yeah, I know how to clean." And I had never cleaned anything in my life. I was like a very messy kid with a mother who cleaned everything. And she said, "I want you to go in that closet and get a bucket and a mop and get some cleaning solution and make these floors clean. They're too greasy." I said, "Okay." So I went in the closet, and I got this giant bucket, one of those giant buckets with the drawing of a baby upside down in it, you know, like, don't let your baby around this bucket. And I looked on the wall, and I saw 409 floor solution. I was like, well, 409, that gets everything clean, but I really need to impress Dee Dee. I really need to get that floor clean. And then I saw what my mom uses to make everything clean, bleach. And I was like, well, these two things together are surely going to clean this place up. So I kneeled over the bucket. I had them in each hand, and I poured. And then it was black. It was just black. I don't know what happened. I woke up with this really weird pain in my back because I had been dragged through the parking lot from the hotel. Calling the Holiday Inn a hotel, it was a motel. I woke up, there were truckers in various states of undress all in the parking lot. There was 3 police cars, an ambulance, various families, like in towels, like looking confused. It turns out that I created a noxious cloud of gas that expanded in the kitchen. I passed out. They had to evacuate that wing of the Holiday Inn. People driving on the highway apparently called from their big-ass 1993 cell phones to be like, there is poison in the air on like Route 10. I was politely edged out of that job. They wouldn't fire me because of a lawsuit or whatever, I'm sure. I quit. But anyway, I found out after the fact that Dee Dee actually fought for my NA to stay. Which I know, right? She liked me. Actually, Dee Dee, if you're here, or if you're listening to the podcast, please email me a JPEG. I'd love to see you again, too. Okay, thank you guys very much.